What's up, sports bettors? Yesterday was a big disappointment. So you can see right here, I had a 6-pick flex play. 6 picks to win $10,000. Our last pick, Mackenzie Weegar, less than 2.5 shots on goal. He got 3. So instead of getting that big 25x payout, we got the 2x payout. But regardless, I'm back today with a ton of picks. So let's just go ahead and let's get into it. I have plays on both ParlayPlay and PrizePicks. Right? And you may be like, Alex, you do a lot on PrizePicks. Why would I sign up for ParlayPlay? And what you need to realize is the payouts on ParlayPlay are slightly better than PrizePicks. And this is really impactful in the long run as a sharp bettor. So you'll notice in a PrizePicks flex play, if you go 6 for 6, you get a 25x payout. That's the same as ParlayPlay, right? But ParlayPlay gives you higher payouts if you go 5 for 6 or 4 for 6 compared to PrizePicks. Right? So I've explained this before, but when you're playing 6 picks with insurance on ParlayPlay, you only need to win 53.2% of your plays to break even. Right? So long story short, if you can select your over-under, so let's say, you want to go with Haaland, over-under 1.5 shots on goal. If you can select your over-unders on ParlayPlay correctly, right, 53.22% of the time, you're going to break even. So if you're winning your picks 54% of the time, you're going to be profitable on ParlayPlay, whereas on PrizePicks, and again, I'll include both spreadsheets in the description breaking down the math, whereas on PrizePicks, you're still not profitable. You're not profitable if you're winning 54% of your over-unders and you're losing 46%. You're going to be profitable on ParlayPlay, but you're not going to be profitable on PrizePicks, right? And I'll include both these spreadsheets breaking down the math in the description. But long story short, more sports books, more betting opportunities, right? And ParlayPlay offers better odds, right? They're offering higher payouts. So this is definitely a platform you should sign up for if you haven't already. So the main tools I use to find my plays on ParlayPlay, Underdog Fantasy, No House Advantage, all these different fantasy sites is first the fantasy screen, and then also the OddsJam positive expected value betting tool, right? So what this fantasy screen does is pretty simple. Right? On both ParlayPlay, on PrizePicks, they're not varying your payouts based on you selecting over or under. So what I mean by that is, right, if I go ahead and I select my plays, if I go with all unders, which you can see right here, this payout doesn't change, right? If I switch this to an over, the payout doesn't change. ParlayPlay and PrizePicks are two platforms with fixed payouts. They do not vary your payouts based on you selecting over or under. So the strategy to beat them is finding spots like Mike Conley under 23.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, where sportsbooks have the under heavily favored, or the over, right? So what OddsJam is doing is it's pulling in, so if you go over to ParlayPlay, right, it's reading through these tens of thousands of odds on, ParlayPlay, the tens of thousands of lines on PrizePicks, right, all these different markets, and it's just showing you spots where sportsbooks have an under really heavily favored or an over really heavily favored. Right, so you're going to see right here for Conley, his under 23.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. The under is the heavily favored outcome on all the sports books. DraftKings has the under at minus 150, Caesars minus 145, BetRivers minus 150, Bovada minus 150. Right, so every data point in the market, every sports book is telling us the same thing. Pinnacle, the sharpest sports book in the world, they have the under favored. All the sports books, all the data points in the market. These sportsbooks have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. Every sportsbook is saying the same thing. This under for Conley should be the heavy favorite. So that's a great play to include in our ParlayPlay entry. And then if we switch over to Kyle Freeland, it's a baseball play, but who cares? Right? You have numerous data points. All these books try to set lines independently, right? Follow the data. 99.9% of sports bettors, they trust their gut, they trust their heart, their emotions, and that's why 99.9% of sports bettors lose money and all these books are in business. Follow the data. It's 2023. Data runs the world. Follow the data. Here you have numerous data points. Every sports book is saying the same thing. Hey, this under should be heavily favored for Kyle Freeland. The under is the favored outcome. The under is a lot more likely to occur, right? So I've explained this before, but this should be pretty intuitive. You're just looking at sportsbook odds, right? Because ParlayPlay, right, they're not varying your payouts based on you selecting overs or unders. You're just trying to find spots where the sportsbooks are telling you, hey, this under is really heavily favored or this over is really heavily favored. So the OddsJam EV tool is updating millions of odds from sports books, from all these fantasy sites to show you those spots where, sports books have an under really heavily favored, and you can get that play on ParlayPlay. Because, again, when the under is really heavily favored on sports books, you know that, your play is going to be winning over 53.22% of the time. So let's say the sports books are telling you, hey, the under is really heavily favored, the under is 55% to hit, the over is 45% to hit. Well, if the under is 55% to hit, your ROI long-term on ParlayPlay is going to be 17.1%, so really high. So long story short, again, the OddsJam EV tool is scanning the whole market and just showing you those spots, the most profitable plays where all the sports books have the under really heavily favored. So you can also use the fantasy screen, which is just kind of a different layout. So you can see here for No House Advantage, for ParlayPlay, all this tool is doing is, again, you need to win 53.22% of your plays on ParlayPlay to break even, right? So you're looking for plays that are hitting 54, 55% of the time. So all the fantasy screen is doing is, again, reading in odds from every single sports book and showing you spots where the under or the over is really heavily favored. So you can see here, all you'd want to do is take all these plays. So it's just going to show you, all the plays that are above 53.22% to win are going to be in green because those are profitable picks using the fantasy screen, right? So you can see here, you want to avoid the red, you want to avoid the yellow, you just want to take these plays in green. So Gabe Vincent, this plays 54.81% to hit, right? So if all our plays in our ParlayPlay entry were 54.81% to hit, our ROI long-term would be 15%. Pretty good, right? Whereas, let's say this play, so let's go back to the fantasy screen. So you can see if you took the top 6 plays, let's say they're, an average of 54% to hit. If you just kind of take an average, 54.81%, 53.55%. So if you took the top 6 plays, so these 6 plays, right? Tyler O'Neill over 1.5 bases, let's say you're winning about 54% of the time, your ROI long-term on ParlayPlay is going to be 7.2%. So again, you can play around with these numbers. I'll include the sheet in the description. So it's the same strategy for ParlayPlay, for PrizePicks, for everything, right? You're looking for value in the market. And on these fantasy sites, because they're not varying your payouts based on you selecting over or under, right? So we can actually just get into my first PrizePicks entry. These payouts are fixed, right? It wouldn't have mattered if we took Trey over or under. So the reason I took Trey under 9.5 assists is obviously the sportsbooks had the under really heavily favored. For Mike Trout, under 1.5 bases, all the sportsbooks had the under really heavily favored. And I say this all the time, but again, you want more sportsbooks because you're going to notice as we kind of scroll around here, like this play, Shane McClanahan, over 1.5 earned runs. This play is available on PrizePicks, but it's not on ParlayPlay. So even though ParlayPlay offers higher payouts, this play's not on ParlayPlay. It's only on PrizePicks. You can't get it on Underdog. You can't get it on, ParlayPlay. So it's only available if you have PrizePicks. So that's why as a sharp bettor, I always recommend you sign up. If you're using these fantasy sites, they all work in basically the exact same ways. Some have slightly higher payouts than others, but sign up for every single one, right? Sign up for them all because they all set lines independently. Sometimes there's more value on PrizePicks. Sometimes there's more value on ParlayPlay, right? It's also why you should sign up for more sports books. So you can see here some value on Fliff, value on BetRivers. So the top play currently available is actually on Bet Openly, right? And then, the market's dynamic. Sports books are trying to keep their odds in check, so you should just hit the refresh button. But you can see now the top plays on Ballybet. You can get Cedric Mullins to go under half of a hit to not get a hit, so just the bet in bold in green. And you're getting plus 155 on Ballybet when most other sports books have this around like plus 110. So crazy value, right? As a sharp bettor, you're just looking for value. You're like a savvy investor, a day trader. You're looking for value. So here's the first play I went with on PrizePicks. Trey under 9.5 assists, Trout under 1.5 bases, Braden Point under 2.5 shots on goal, Kane under 3.5 shots on goal, Pierre over 2.5 shots on goal, Peterson under 3.5 shots on goal. And then I also paired these in a couple different 5 flexes. So you can just, pause the video, whatever you want to do, and just take a couple screenshots. So we have 1, 2, 3 here, right? And then we also have the 6 flex we just went through. So then on ParlayPlay, so let's go over to my entries. So if I go here and then I go to entries, and we cashed a big one pretty recently, right? So we had the 60, we hit all 6. So you can see here, 60 to win 1.5K we cashed. But what I currently have open is, let's go over here. So this play was from yesterday, so we're not going to talk about this one. But what do we have? Here you can see it right here. Yeah, this is for today. So we have Conley under 23.5 PRAs, which again, all these plays are just from the EV tool, from the fantasy screen. When you're using the EV tool, it's just the bet in bold and in green, and on the fantasy screen, it's just the plays highlighted in green. And again, Parlay Play, Prize Picks, they don't vary your payouts based on you selecting over or under, so you just want to find the numbers with the highest possible win rate, right? So the plays on the top are better than the plays, Darnell Nurse under 2.5 shots on goal. Sure, that play has a little bit of value, but obviously this Gabe Vincent play is more likely to hit, so it's going to be more profitable in our Parlay Play entry. So what I ended up having is it looks like I have 3 different ones, so you can kind of take screenshots if you want, and you can try to find any of these picks. Embiid under 3.5 assists, Kelly under 5.5 strikeouts, Rodriguez over 1.5 bases. Well, that's annoying, so let's go here. So here's the 6 picks, the first 6 picks entry. If you want to take a little screenshot, here's the second one. Kevin Love under 13.5, PRAs, 6 picks, some baseball, some NHL. I say it all the time. I'm not sure why this is graded as a loss already. This game hasn't even started. It doesn't start for 7 hours. But regardless, maybe he's do not play and my 6 flex is going to go to a 5 flex, but you can see 6 more picks right here. Tons of player props. Hopefully this video was helpful. Everything from the fantasy screen, the EV tool, let's make